that's the beginning of That's All Right by Jimmy Rogers. That's a 4-bar intro, which I'm really going to focus on the first part of this lesson, on the first 4 bars exactly, because if you can do that, then you'll understand the beginning of tons of blues songs, and you'll understand everything that's in this song. So it's an E, and it starts out, so that's like the top part of an E minor chord, like this. This is like the A minor shape that you probably remember from your beginning guitar days, moved all the way up to your first finger barring on the 7th fret, and then there's your A minor shape. So we don't have to play the whole chord. Now, I'm not using a pick. This really doesn't sound right with a pick. You should either use a thumb pick and finger picks, or your fingers, because you sort of want to color in the bass notes a little bit. Now take a look at that. I didn't just play the top part of that chord like we talked about it. I kind of pushed my second finger up towards the ceiling a little bit. I'm bending it, but not enough to make it a major. You know, just a little bit, and it makes a big difference. And now we're going to a B7th. A B and then a B7th. I don't know if you're familiar with this chord or not, but there's a few different ways to think about it. But what you're doing is your first finger is on the 4th fret of the D, G, and B strings. Your pinky's all the way out in the 7th fret. That's a B note there. And then your second finger's on the 5th fret of the E string. So here's what we just did. And this is kind of like if you know an A chord like this, then you just moved it up, right? But you don't have to do, obviously, you can't do that. And now, think about it as you're sort of an A chord. This is everywhere. This is in Key to the Highway. This is in Got to Find My Baby by Little Walter. It's in Sweet Home Chicago. If you can play this, you can play Magic Sam's Sweet Home Chicago. So I'm going to do that again and go over it slowly. I'm sliding in with my second finger on the 6th fret, and then first finger on the 5th fret, and then 3, 2, 1 on 7, 6, and 5 of the high E string. So I'll do that again because this is important. And now reach out with your pinky. 8, 7, 5. It's just like Key to the Highway. You know. And then he does something really amazing. He slides with his 3rd finger on the 7th fret up to the 9th, 7 on the E string, 9 on the E string. And right at that moment is when you're back on the E note. So this is, again, the 4-bar intro. So I'm just going to play just the chords of the 4-bar intro. It's like da 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 da. Now B7th for 2 bars, and then 2 beats. A. Does everybody know this chord? It's a B7th. And you can roll the second finger over to the 2nd fret of the low E string, which is pretty cool. That's nice. You kind of drag it down with your thumb. So I'm just going to go over it again real quick so everyone can sort of see what's going on. And then We'll go on to the next one in the next part, okay? Now we're in A. This is a typical turnaround. It's like your D7th shape up on the 4th, 3rd, and 4th fret. And then just down a fret. And then the same thing with the first finger off, so you have an open B string. And the B7th. So that's the beginning of That's All Right. Hi, it's Johnny Burgin from the Chicago Blues Camp on the faculty, and we're talking about That's All Right by Jimmie Rodgers. Part 2. Part 1 was pretty much the introduction, and it was note for note. Part 2, I'm just gonna, it's not gonna be totally note for note every single thing that happens, but it's gonna be the concept. So, you told me, baby, once upon a time. So what you probably noticed there was I'm playing a lumpty-lump or a lump, which is the bottom. This is the absolute bedrock basic guitar part for a Jimmie Rodgers or a Muddy Waters or a Jimmy Reed song. Can you do that? Now then something amazing is going to happen. Hear that? This is why I'm always saying, not always, but this is why I'm so excited about a thumb pick and finger picks, or either just playing like this instead of using a pick, because it just doesn't have the same feel. So it's like a chime. You can either do it when your foot's in the air. Notice I'm tapping. I'll tap a little louder. When your foot's in the air, it sounds nice. Or when your foot's coming down. So that is coloring, because the original, this tune is just a trio. It's a string bass and a harmonica and Jimmie Rodgers. So he's coloring in his bass notes here. And then on the 4, he does a really cool, it's like a boogie pattern backwards. So that is kind of, so it's out of an A chord. You could even do this if you want, just put your, if you can't, you could sort of bend it like it's like that, so you can somehow get the open E string to ring while you're holding down the whole chord. Or you could just sort of slam away on the A string and put your first finger on the 2nd fret of the B string. Now you're wondering what else is going on. So the 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of the E string, and then 2nd finger's on the 2nd fret of the E string. You can even walk into it. Now notice how I did that? I've got a lump with my 2nd finger and pinky. This seems awkward, but then your first finger sort of hammers on the G string. And then here's your trusty B7th chord. So the trick there is the right hand. He kind of lingers over it while you're still thumping with your thumb. Now you do your boogie, kind of, if you want. what that was. I don't even think that was on the record. So that pretty much is. So that's like a turnaround there. Now here's the solo. Remember the B7 chord from the part 1? It's the same thing all the way in the 9th fret to 12th fret. And this is like an E7. This is a 2nd finger on the 12th fret, 1st finger on the 10th fret. By the way, this is in Sweet Home Chicago. This you remember from the first part of That's All Right. Anyway, so this is just like the intro, almost. So if you can play the intro, you can pretty much play the guitar solo once you know this part of it. And you don't have to play it exactly like the record. It's just, it really does tell a nice story. The main thing is you play your lumps with your chimes in there. And this. So thanks for watching, and good luck with this classic tune.